Hi, this is Trinisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about exactly. So, what made me want to think about exactly is earlier today I was doing some self reflecting like I do most of the time, and I did a show earlier today, and I was thinking about how my business is first love yourself and how I want to pour into other people and make them feel like they're good enough exactly where they are. They're doing all the things that they need to do and they're enough that they don't have to try to become something else to be something else for somebody else. The only person that they need to impress is God. The only one who needs for them to be in their purpose be doing the things that they need to do is God. And it's so easy for society to make us feel like we have to be feeling like we need to be in comparison with someone else, like comparing ourselves to someone who we see as beautiful ourselves. And one thing that I want to say that I feel like it's important for every woman and man to know is that, and I feel like it's mostly women because we, from ever since I was little until like I started working on myself, I always believed that there couldn't be two beautiful people in the room. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and most people that hear me say that are going to say, "What? That doesn't make any sense." Now think about this. How many times have you went out somewhere and you've said, "Oh, well, my outfit looks good, but it doesn't look like theirs," in your head? Or how many times have you felt like, "Why even try if there's so many beautiful people?" Or how many times have you felt like, "Oh, well, I did this, but it's not as bad as hers"? Or how many times have you felt like, "Oh, well, because this guy didn't appreciate me, it must be because I'm missing something and this is the person that has the thing that they're looking for." Sometimes people do like different things. That's just their own personal preference. It has nothing to do with you personally. You could be perfectly fine for the person that's for you. Sometimes it's just that person is not the person for you. And no matter how much you try to push it to be something that it's not going to. And it's difficult. It's not always easy to hear those things, especially when you're interested in someone. But sometimes it's not about what you want, it's about what God wants for you. And it's easy for us to just think, "Oh, I really like this thing. I really want to do this job. I really want to be in this place in my life." But I was reading this quote a little while ago from AO, and it says, "You're exactly where you were meant to be." And it's so funny because it's so true in life. No matter what it is that we're doing in life, when we're doing the best that we can, when we are trying, God has us in our position exactly where it is He intended us to be at that point in our life, on our journey, whether we're working off things that are holding us back, making us, feel a certain type of way, those negative attributes that He tries to break off of us so that we can be better for our future generations, for our future partner, future people in general. Like maybe me breaking off jealousy and insecurity, or me breaking off that impatient thing that I have, or that ability to not be vulnerable, or whatever else it is, could be, or that cynicism that lingers over me from time to time, could be the exact thing that I need to break off in order for generations that come after me to see that they are enough. They are, if whenever they are doing the best that they can, they're exactly where God intended them to be in their life. All the doors that need to be open, God will open. All the people who are supposed to be in your life, God will send in your life. Any person who is supposed to be with you is going to be with you. Any friendship that is supposed to last is going to last. You don't have to worry about being in a one-sided friendship. You don't have to be worry about being in a job that's going nowhere. You don't have to worry about being in a relationship that's going nowhere. God will have you exactly where He intends for you to be, in the exact rooms that He intended for you to be in, especially when you're being obedient and you're sacrificing. And I say sacrificing because sometimes we feel like if we just say, "Yes, Lord," and we don't give up anything, that we're going to get everything that we want. If we just, God asks us to give, and we say, "Okay, yes, God, I'll give." Like, you might give a little bit, but like, let's say God said give 300, and you're like, let me give 30. That's not you sacrificing. That's you not being obedient, and you're not sacrificing. but you really being intentional with your life and allowing God to just guide you while you're being obedient. Like when I'm the most obedient is where I'm the most blessed, honestly. And I know this, and sometimes it still gets difficult for me. Sometimes it's hard to just let go. Sometimes I just want to be like, well, I really want this thing. Like it doesn't make any sense. And God's like, you're not ready yet. And I'm like, but I feel ready. Like, I'm good in this area. I'm good here. My patience is growing. Like, I'm doing all these things. What else is it that I would need to do? And God's saying patience. You might be more patient in this area, but you still need to work on patience in another area. You are still being at this very moment while you're asking for something that you know you're not, I told you that you're not ready for it. You are still being impatient. You might have worked off most of the impatience in certain areas of your life, but you're going to have to be patient all the way around. Because when it comes to your patience being tested in a relationship or in other rooms, that you can't have a low patience. You can't have a low intolerance. You need to be able to tolerate things that are going to test your patience. When I reach you, when I open doors for you and let you into other rooms, when I introduce you to people who could expand your business, when I introduce you to people who could create a whole movement, you can't be impatient. Some things are going to have to take time. Some things are going to have to go through the breaking. Some things are going to have to go through the tests and the trials and the tribulations and all of these things that I have set forth for you on your journey. You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to go through it so that you can come out on the other side stronger. And it's not always easy to hear that because, as a human being, you're just like, I just really want this thing. and and I want this at this moment. I don't want to wait 3 years. I don't want to wait a day. I know a day sounds a little drastic. Let's not say a day. Let's say I don't want to wait until next year and it's like November. Let's say something like that. Or or I don't want to wait until whatever, because we know how impatient we can be sometimes. And I'm saying that because I know I'm not the only impatient person. I really am trying to be better with when it comes to patience, because I know that no matter what I do, I could hustle and bustle and break my back. I mean, just doing the most ridiculous things just to be always constantly going and doing something just to make it seem like I'm doing something with my life. But the times that God really truly blesses me, or that I am the most prosperous, is when I am completely obedient. It's like when I'm obedient, even if God says, I need you to rest for 4 days. Let's say it's 4 days or something. And God says rest. And I'm like, but God, I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to not do anything. God didn't say stop serving. He did not say to just be lazy. He said to rest. Resting and laziness is not the same thing. He didn't say kick your feet up and then pretend as if you don't have to put forth any work. He said stop doing so much that you're really going nowhere. You're running in circles. Like, let me handle it. And and really, I know it's not just me. It's probably other people out there that feel like, wow, it is really tough to release, just to release control, just to give up the reins and allow God to be in his rightful place and not just try to overstep and not just try to rush through life, not just to try to rush into a relationship or a job prematurely or a friendship that shouldn't be there or whatever else. Like, really. And it's so funny because every time I'm on these videos, I get a revelation, or like it's like God was trying to teach me something, and then in my head it clicks, like when I'm doing these videos sometimes, and I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, I never asked for discernment in this area of my life. And now I see why that turned out a hot mess, or why it ended up as crazy as it did, or whatever else. And it's weird because it's always like, what in the world? Like, if I would have just waited on God, if I would have asked for discernment with this friendship or whatever else, I wouldn't have even had to deal with this. Like, I could have left this person in the season they're supposed to be in. But because I didn't ask, because I felt like, and let me just be real, I really felt like if it's not something that's an area of my life where, like, let's say it's a job and it's just a transfer over of a title or something like that. If I don't ask God for discernment with a job and I get the job and then the job ends up being crazy or something else, it's because I didn't ask for discernment. I didn't ask for God's guidance. God could have been wanting me to stay in another position so that I could end up being the lead person or the person who oversees the whole project or something else. Like, he could have put me in a general management position or something else. I'm just spewing out different position titles. I'm not saying this like really in general. This is just like a example. And so instead of me asking for discernment and God telling me to stay, I move for no reason. Let's say it's a friendship and I want to be friends with this person because I feel like, oh, it's just a person that's a friend. It really won't matter. Like, I'll still be in my purpose. This person is just someone who I'm just cool with. They seem like they have the same like goals and stuff, so it really won't affect me. And God, and then the next thing you know, this person is just rude and they say something really mean or something. And I never checked with God to discern if this person is even supposed to be a part of my life, if this person is even supposed to go to the next level with me. And God told me, and I know I hate to be that person that says that, and it's like, oh, really, you know, but you just feel it in your spirit. And this is how you know that God's talking to you when you have that conscious, like, that's guiding you, telling you something feels good. I mean, not feels, but something is right. Like, you can tell in your soul, like you have this moral indicator inside of you that kind of points you in the right direction, and that's God. And also, like when you're reading scripture and some of the things just stand out to you, or you're listening to a sermon and it's like you get a chill when you hear certain messages, something, a phrase or something that really speaks to your spirit. That's God telling you that He's there with you and that this is the direction that He wants you to go in. Sometimes it can even be like you are listening and it's like, you know how people always say, something told me that I should do blah. That's God telling you should do blah, especially when it's something good or something that teaches you a lesson or something that, and I don't mean like going to something horrible and then say, well, I learned a lesson from it. No, that's not what I'm saying. But really, you go into this friendship or whatever else thinking that, oh, I don't need to use discernment. And it ends up being disastrous. And like I was going to say, God told me that not everybody can go with you to whatever season level that He's taking you to. And sometimes I don't understand this because I'm like, but this is a good person. It doesn't make any sense why they can't be there or why they can't go into this season with me or why I can't be friends with this person. And when you don't listen to God, or if you listen to God and you're in your purpose and you're in that in between stage where you just don't understand why you can't be friends with that person, God will show you real quick why you can't allow this person to go into that season with you or why this person can't be a part of that. And He might even give you like little hints here and there, like, oh, well, if this happens, then it will do blah. If this happens, then this person will do this. And the friend could say something that really is like, you couldn't allow this person to be in that area in the first place. So even though you didn't, like when you discern with your friendships, with relationships, with anything, it's always like God gives you like these little red flags, like these signals, like this isn't for you. Like this isn't it. This is not what you need. And I get that all the time. Sometimes I'm just like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why not this? Or whatever else. Or sometimes, like, I'll get a weird feeling about, like, certain people. And I'm like, this person seems like a perfectly, like, nice person. It doesn't make any sense for this person not to be able to just be cool with me or be a friend. And then the whole time you're just feeling like you don't know what it is. And it's not that you get bad vibes from the person, you just get vibes where it's not like that, or it's not I don't know how to describe it, but there's something that's telling you that this person shouldn't be in your life. And you're like, this is a nice person. Doesn't make any sense. They're nice. They're cool, calm, and collected. They are. Why did I just say that? They just are decent human beings, and you just can't understand why God is saying this person can't come into the next season with you. And next thing you know, you learn that this person just doesn't respect you, or they might not take advantage of you, but they might not understand why you get to be blessed if they're in a weird position in their life. They might see your success as a hindrance for them. They might see it as like a competition. They might see it as they'll never be able to be a lead if you're leading. When I don't think that because I'm successful, I'm leading. I just think that, and when I say successful, I mean successful in my life. And success consists of me having everything that I need and having peace and joy. Like having everything I need to make sure that I'm good and God's taking good care of me, and having peace and joy in my life is successful to me. It's not like a specific number. It's not a specific amount of friends or a size house or a car or whatever else. It's literally just me having everything that I need and feeling peace and joy in my life. That's success, because no amount of money can buy my happiness. No amount of money can give me peace. No amount of money can bring joy, the joy unspeakable that God gives me in my life. And if I seek God first, no matter what is happening in my life, God will provide a way. He's the God of abundance. So it's not that I will be of lack of anything. So that's success to me. People can say, oh, they just get to buy all these things, but that those material objects will never keep you comfortable. That warm body will never give you the love that God gives you. It will never be enough, because no human being can fill a God-sized hole at all. So it's easy to think that it's like an abracadabra thing, like some kind of magic, or, it's like some kind of switch that just clicks on automatically. You just, once you get this person, or once you get this amount of money, or once you get this job, or whatever, all of a sudden, magically, everything just is whole. Like, no, you have to allow God to work on you from the inside out. He has to really take these things, these negative things that are hindering you, these things that have always been a part of you, the things that have been holding you back, and really break those things off of you. He really has to get in there. Is to get into those deep dark places. He has to be able to pour out insecurity and jealousy and cynicism and anything of lack, anything that joy and happiness and abundance can't live in, is the things that God wants to break off of your life. Anytime He wants you to be successful, or to inspire other people, or speak a life into other people, or be in your purpose, He always wants you to be in that place in a positive way. He only wants good things in that place. He doesn't just want you to carry toxicity into happiness, because they can't live in the same place. They can't dwell in the same area of your soul. So it's really important to know that when when it comes to things in your life, you really have to check with God, to let Him help you discern if this person even deserves to be a part of your life, even is supposed to be a part of your life in that season, or any season. You can't just choose it for yourself. Like, I have a hard time with this sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I could sit here and pretend like, oh yeah, I got this all under control. I do the right thing all the time. I'm always blah. Like, no, I'm not gonna pretend like that. Like, let me be transparent. I really do sometimes really want some things in my life. And I'm like, like, I know, I get it, I know. Like, I really know. It just is like, oh my gosh, okay. I know if God's in it, it's gonna be amazing. So it's not like I can complain, because it's gonna be like that. Like, it's not like God's gonna say, "Oh, let me remove this guy who is understanding and patient and kind and everything that you think that you're looking for, who has good core values, who's raised right, who is a decent human being. let me just remove this person from your life because because I just don't want you to have this thing. Like God's not like that. God's like, if I'm removing somebody like that from your life, it's because I got someone else who is going to be better. Or it's because, not to downplay any person, I'm just saying in general. Usually it's because the things that you want and the things that you need aren't aligned with what God wants and needs for that relationship or for that friendship or for whatever else it is. And so God could say, you think you want this because of a few things, but you need this in your life for you to be able to be vulnerable. Like for me to be vulnerable, I would need to build trust. And I might not be able to do that with a certain person, but I might be able to do that with the other person who God sends into my life. And so God's always looking out for us and making sure that we have what we need and not just what we want. You might want, this is for, I'm going to talk about the women's side, then I'm going to talk about the men's side. For women, you may want the guy who just looks so gorgeous, who just seems like, he's great at all of these things, who has good work ethic or whatever it is that you're looking for. You might see him and you'd be like, okay, I see you. And then God might be like, no, cut it out. He might be like, no, this is not like, yes, he looks good. All of my children are gorgeous in the eyes of me. Like he might say something like that. We're all beautiful in the eyes of me. And he might say something like that. And then you're like, and he's like, but this is what you need in your life. Like, yes, those are good things to have, but these are things that you actually need to benefit the kingdom. If I give you this person, you will be so about this person that you won't be in your purpose. You will be distracted. You will try to become something that you're not. And I need you to be as authentic as possible to serve in the way that I have called you to serve. You can't be doing a video about inspiring other people when you're trying to be something that you're not. You can't tell people to love themselves when you're not loving who you are because you're pretending to be something else. You can't try to speak life into other people when you are diminishing your light because you want to please someone else, because you want someone else to think that you're good enough. You're going to have to be with someone who already appreciates you. You're going to have to be with someone who already will honor you or respect you. And if this person can't do that, no matter how amazing they may seem, it's not going to be beneficial for your life. And you can do the sad eyes, you can cry, you can stomp your feet, throw a little child tantrum, all you want, but I'm not giving you anything that's not good for you. And it has nothing to do with the person at all. It has everything to do with who you will be with that person. The things that you will give up. You might not be willing to travel if you want to spend time with this person. If there is a place, like if I'm telling you to go to Paris to speak life into individuals there for whatever reason, and you get with this person and there's a date night the day that I told you to go to Paris, which so happens to be like maybe the day that you met or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing random stuff out there. Or Christmas or whatever. Probably not Christmas. Probably not Christmas. And so it could be something like that. And instead of you going to speak life into people to change their life, you will stay behind because you will be that into this person. And you it would never be good for you to be that into a person that you would neglect your purpose. And for guys, it could be, this girl is bad. I mean, she got everything going on. Like, she looks so good. You'd be like, I give up my whole life for her. And that's the problem. God would be like, exactly. You need to be giving your life up for me. If you feel like you could be seduced, like, what is his name? Samson. Samson? Feel like it's Samson, but I could be wrong. I really need to get this together because if I want to be a baby Christian and I'm on here and I'm speaking life into people and I'm trying to show them how I am in my religion, I really do need to be on top of things so that you could see that I'm not just like a fly by night Christian. I'm like really about that life. And so so you don't want to end up being like Samson and Delilah and then just be like, "Oh, let me just go ahead and just give you whatever you want and just let you speak all of this all this talk and then convince me to lower my guard so that you can destroy me." Like that's exactly what happens in real life. This girl looking bad, she's taking all your money, she's taking all your dignity away from you, she's taking your respect, she's taking your security. Now you're insecure, now you're jealous, now you are turning into somebody that God never intended you to be because you got manipulated by the beauty. And really, God is saying, focus on her mind, focus on, yes, she's going to be beautiful, but focus on her mind. Where's her mindset at? Is she really about being a wife or really about being about you in the right way, in a healthy way, not in a clingy way, not in a codependent way, but in a way where you could still be in your purpose and not be distracted by Delilah? So things like that are just really important. And sometimes we get into these moments where we really feel like we could do better. Like if we choose, it's gonna be the right person. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like God has better for us than what we could ever imagine. We might want certain things, we might think we need certain things in our life, but those things aren't beneficial for the kingdom. They're beneficial for us selfishly. And God is saying that he wants more for us. He wants better for us. If I really want to change the world, I'm going to have to be with somebody that's going to allow me to be able to change the world. I can't be with anyone that's going to stop my growth. Any person that's going to feel threatened by me being successful or strong because I had to be. Like just because I can I'm good by myself doesn't mean that I can't be interdependent. It doesn't mean that I can't allow someone to lead and be submissive. It just means that I'm okay taking care of business and I'm okay taking care of myself and I'm good at it. Like it just is what it is. I've always been that way. I have no problem working 12 jobs if I need to. I'll do whatever it takes to just do what I need to do. It just is what it is. And that doesn't make me stronger than or a lead of a household. That just makes me an independent woman who can become interdependent. I just got to let God continue to work on me because nobody's perfect. And I have some moments. And so it's just so important for us to really be intentional about our life and really focus on what it is that God wants for us and not just what we want for us and not just what other people want for us or trying to pretend as if, oh well, God doesn't really need to help me discern this area because it's really not going to affect me. Like you don't know how badly that friendship will affect your mindset, how it will take you out of different jobs because you're being ungrateful instead of appreciating the job that you're in, how it's going to form your mind or make you be like kind of standoffish when you're dating other people because you're emotionally pouring into something else when really your emotions should be at a good place so that when you are meeting people, maybe you're not emotional or extra vulnerable or anything like that, but you are actually there present in the moment instead of feeling like you have nothing to give because you've already poured out your heart to someone else who who doesn't even deserve that, who doesn't even need to know all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just it's really important for us to just stay focused on God. We might want something. I know it just seems so you want it so badly, you want the cake so badly. You want the cake so badly that you just feel like, what I gotta do, God? What do I gotta do to get this? But God's like, I was gonna say slow your roll, grasshopper, but I sound so corny and I already said it, so it's not getting edited. But yeah, he's like, slow your roll, grasshopper. Take your time. This is a journey. This is not a race. Everything that you're doing is in due time. Every place that you're supposed to be is exactly where you are. Everything that you're doing in your life is for a greater purpose. And in order for me to be able to use you, I'm going to need you to stay focused on your path, on the path that I have set forth for you, and not the path that you keep creating for yourself so that you can keep taking all these detours and making it longer and longer for you to get to your destination. God did not go and know all the hairs on our head and know us before we were born, just so that he can make us go through this long, drawn out journey and never get to the destination. He intended for us to be in our purpose. He intended for us to be willing to be obedient and sacrifice and lead with love and kindness and do the things that we need to do so that we can build into the thing that God wanted us to become. And we can't do that if we take shortcuts. We can't do that if we just go for the things that we want. And we absolutely can't do that without discernment. And discernment is like you being able to have faith and look towards God for the answer and his guidance, and not just on other people, not just on yourself. You know deep down when something's not right. You know deep down when you're making a good or a bad decision. So just be true to yourself. And in conclusion, I know I talked about extra. It was a long time ago, like 30 minutes ago. I'm starting to get tired. I'm not gonna pretend like I remember what I said at the beginning. Like I usually it's like it comes right back like that, and I'm like, oh yeah, when it comes to being extra, blah, or whatever the title is, we're just gonna have to go with it. So when it comes to being extra, you don't have to be anything but what you are. You don't have to just try to do all of this extra stuff to try to get to your destination. You don't have to try to do extra things to get the person or the job or the friendship. All you have to do is be yourself. Be the best version of yourself. Be obedient to God. Be willing to sacrifice. Stay in your purpose. And don't allow anyone to manipulate you or to distract you from your purpose. And always have faith. Don't allow any person, any friend, family member, no matter who it is. I say that because sometimes we feel like because of the title of the person in our life that they deserve to have a position over God, or they deserve to be able to guide us in a way that God is supposed to be guiding us. And we can still respect people, and we know that everyone has an opinion, but that doesn't mean that anyone is God. No one knows God's plan but Him. So if we really want to seek true guidance and we really want to be where God intended us to be on our journey, we have to be seeking His discernment, His approval on certain things, on everything in our life. I shouldn't say certain things, everything, so that He can guide us where we're supposed to go and not where we want to be.